What's up, guys? Today we got the LG V60 versus the Galaxy A34, and pretty interested in this comparison. I really want to see what these side-by-side stills look like. But yeah, so let's go ahead and dive into it here. So let's start off with the price. You can find a really good condition. This is a refurbished V60, pretty much excellent condition. But you can find these for $177. And you can also get the dual screen case, but Amazon has it for way too much. I do have one coming. You can get it from eBay for like 60 bucks. But yeah, so you can find the V60 for that price. And then you also can find the A34 for brand new, like 250 bucks. I picked this one up from Amazon brand new. So those are the prices. So not a massive price gap, but the V60 is cheaper. Alright, so let's talk about hardware here. As you can see, the V60 is just a much bigger phone. It's actually slimmer, than the A34, surprisingly. The biggest difference, like, yesterday, is hardware. The A34 is just a plastic phone, and it feels plasticky for sure. It does not feel as premium as the V60. V60 is a full glass and metal phone. It's IP68 dust and water resistant, and the A34 is IP67 dust and water resistant as well. You will notice with the hardware here that you do have a headphone jack with a quad DAC on the V60, and there's no headphone jack on the A34, which is surprising because you would think they would put a headphone jack on this one. Both have stereo speakers, which we will compare as well too, and both of these phones do have SD card support, so you do have that expandable storage you could take advantage of. But obviously the hardware on the V60 is just much better, and you have a quad DAC. Alright, so let's talk about the displays here. So the A34 has the Super AMOLED 120 Hz display. It's 6.6 inches, 1080p, 390 for the PPI. And then the V60 has the POLED displays, HDR10 Plus, which is something that I don't see on the spec sheet on the A34. It's also 1080p, 395 for the PPI. They're both very nice displays. Obviously, the V60 is just a bigger phone, right? So a bigger display. So if you watch a lot of content, you might like the bigger panel on here. But both these panels actually look really, really good. The A34 does have the advantage of having, the 120 Hertz. So it's gonna feel just a little bit more smoother than the V60. But like I've said, in previous videos, the V60 does have a really smooth display for a 60 Hertz panel. But you can definitely tell the difference here from 120 Hertz versus the 60 Hertz panel. Yeah, so that's definitely a big thing to consider here. Also, the thing about the V60 is that you do have a dual screen case. So basically, think about it. Once you put the case on, you basically have two phones essentially. You can have YouTube up on one screen, and you can have, let's say, a game running on another screen, Subway Surfer, or whatever you want. So that's the pretty cool thing with the V60. It also has pen support as well too. So it's a quite of a spec'd out device for sure. But as far as the screen goes, it's very minimal difference with the screen. It really depends on, do you want dual screen case or do you want the 120 Hertz? They also both have like the notches, as you guys can see. Pretty much the same notch as well too. Alright, so let's talk about the specs a little bit more. You guys can see the Geekbench scores here. The V60 pretty much still crushes this phone in terms of performance. The V60 has the Snapdragon 865 chip on here. It is actually running Android 13, which was a big surprise to all of us this year. 128 gigs of internal storage and 8 gigs of RAM is on board with micro SD card support. The A34 does have the Dimensity 1080 chip, also has SD card support, 128 gigs of internal storage and 6 gigs of RAM. And you can see from the scores here, the V60 just does a much better job in the single and the multi-core score. And as always, what's I think impressive with the A34 is that it's actually still very fast, even compared to flagships as far as like your day-to-day use. It's really quick. Animations are pretty smooth on here as well too. The only difference is when it comes to stuff like gaming and stuff like that, you'll kind of notice you get better settings on the V60 for sure. But yeah, as far as like overall animations and launching applications, coming in and out of stuff, it's very pretty much on par. Like I said, the V60, it is going to be like, slightly faster, but definitely both these phones do a pretty good job at, performance and smoothness. All right, so here is the difference with gaming performance that you will notice. Simply, it just comes down to better settings here. Like for PUBG, you can play at HDR 60 frames, and it's very smooth. The V60 is really good for gaming. Doesn't heat up like crazy or anything like that. And then you can also take advantage of the dual screen case. Like you can actually see the PUBG map on the dual screen case if you do get it. And yeah, it's just an overall better gaming experience across the board. It doesn't matter what game you play, you're just gonna have better performance on the V60. When it comes to the A34, considering its price, it does a pretty good job. Like we have smooth extreme, but no HDR extreme on here. But for a casual gamer, this phone will do just fine. But if you're an actual like competitive gamer on a budget, you're definitely gonna go with the V60 for sure. Let's check out these speakers at max volume. I really do like the sound of the A34. It has a really nice clean sound. The V60 is definitely louder and kind of has a more fuller, boomier kind of sound. Yeah, it does. The bass hits a little bit harder on the V60 as well. It really depends because this one has a really clean sound, the A34. I'm actually pretty impressed with these speakers on here. But the V60 has this really kind of full sound to it. So it depends on which sound profile you like. I think they're both pretty good. So let's go ahead and talk about the fingerprint scanner here. They both have it and they pretty much feel the same. So there's no big difference there. The only difference is that with the V60, there's no face unlock. You do have face unlock on the A34. I actually thought this was the most interesting part about this comparison. So let me know what you guys thought about the image quality. So the V60, it does have a 64 megapixel standard and a 16 megapixel ultra wide, has a 0.3 depth sensor. It can shoot an 8K 30, 10 megapixel selfie that shoots in 4K 30. The A34 has a 48 megapixel standard, 8 megapixel ultra wide, 5 megapixel macro, shoots in 4K 30 on the front and the selfie, and has a 13 megapixel selfie cam. So let me know what did you guys think about the photo and image quality. Now, when it comes to battery life, the V60 definitely has better battery life. It's still impressive till this day. It just has way better standby time as well too. So the V60 does have a 5,000 milliamp hour battery on here. You do have wireless charging on board, which is something that the A34 it does lack. The A34 also has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, but like I said, it lacks the wireless charging. So pretty impressive from these two phones. Let me know which phone would you guys go with, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.